Hello, beloved ones. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune into this solstice message. My name is Robin Flynn, and I am co founder of Star River Sanctuary and Visionary Hearts with my beautiful husband, Darcy Kopas. And I really felt a strong call to put together this message for this solstice because I've been feeling how big of a time collectively and individually this is. We are going through the big churn of the Great Turning and the global Pachacuti, the churning is happening in full speed right now. And from the gift of being in service to this ever growing community through our apprenticeship programs, through our ceremonial work, through our online teaching and online apprenticeships. I have the unique privilege and responsibility with Darcy to be connected to so many others in a very deep and intimate way in your healing journey. And there's been a theme coming up over and over at this time. And it's a theme that's also been very alive in my own personal journey, connecting with my heart, staying in integrity with my heart. And the theme has been a call, a deep, profound need to reconnect to that higher vision and higher purpose. Now, this higher vision and higher purpose to me is really symbolized, is like powerfully symbolized, is mythically symbolized, is beautifully symbolized through the North Star. And, really the most sustaining thing in my life in this path of service and journey, the thing that keeps me going when it's hard. And there's sometimes where doing this work is really challenging. It's challenging physically, it's challenging relationally, it's challenging energetically. And without the North Star, higher vision and higher purpose in my life, there's no way to do it. And, both Darcy and I have been really blessed. Like the greatest blessing is being brought together in our love and then being brought together in a higher vision, a higher purpose for our lives. Something totally noble and worthwhile and worthy to direct the full power and the flow of this precious life force. And for the two of us, that vision has not changed. This again relates to me like the North Star. It's always there in the same place. It's what all the other stars in the heavens orient and spiral around. It's the central axis. And, this North Star of service, of being here, knowing that we came to be here as you did as well, for stewarding, for midwifing, and for birthing all at the same time, the new earth. And recognizing that we came here for, of course, our own enjoyment and experience of living in this beautiful, shining blue jewel of a planet. I love Earth so much. I love life so much. I'm so grateful to be here. And humans are crazy. And when I was little, I was just like, this is not what I remember. And if I have been here before, it was a long time ago. Because all this suffering, this malice, this harshness, this greed, this meanness, it doesn't make sense to me. And, now that I'm a few decades older, it still doesn't make sense to me. And so this North Star of recognizing that we've come here just for this, just to be of service, to hold presence, light, love, and compassion. As the old ways die and are hospiced out, and simultaneously, through our very embodiment, we are birthing the new earth. And the new earth is emerging through our alignment and connection to our souls, to our inherent divinity, and really, honestly, to the reclamation of the sacredness of life. Because what's causing all this ugliness is the desacralization of life. And so the North Star as a focus, as a calling, as a mythic symbol, feels so essential right now. And the North Star is also so powerful because inherent in, our in English is that the North Star is related to leaving slavery and being guided towards liberation. And recognizing that this star has been known about by countless cultures around the world. It wasn't discovered by some European dude in the 1700s who named it Polaris. I can't remember his name, but he said he discovered it. But that's just like, what European people have done for a long time. But the star was known all the way back to the time of ancient Kemet, of the ancient Egyptians, that it's been known by the Polynesians and the Chinese and all over the world. In China, Polaris, the North Star, is known as the Emperor of Heaven, the celestial gate to heaven. In ancient Kemet, the North Star is related to Isis, the great mother of compassionate love and unyielding devotion to love, an absolute love from before we're born through this life and after death. And the North Star was seen to be the portal of Isis, of her overlighting presence that would offer not only alignment and attunement and protection in her divinity in this life, but would also be the overlighting presence to help our souls into the afterlife. I think that's really profound. And that the North Star has been utilized by the ancients for navigation, always to the new earth, like the ancient Polynesians and the wayfinders, and listening to the stars and the winds and the temperature of the waters and watching the fish and the birds, that they were able to guide the people to that new earth, that new island. And we're at a time where the significance mythically and on every level of the North Star is really, really important, because we are coming from a very contracted state. We awaken to the realization of our own enslavement, of the ways that we have given away our sovereignty and our power, forgotten or never really been taught just how powerful we are and what we consent to, and how intense the psychic force and psychological pressure is of the old world control systems that are subliminally and just under the surface of consciousness, shaping our consciousness always to limitation and fear. Because as we orient back to divinity, back to the North Star, back to our soul's higher purpose in choosing to incarnate, getting this gift of life, then we walk ourselves out of our own enslavement, and we take that prayer walk. We take that prayer walk and we follow that light that is only seen in the darkest night. That we find the North Star in the darkest night. And in many ways, this also helps us to recognize that it's through our deep dreaming, like at this time of the year when it's so dark. It's through the long dreaming, the long nights, that we reconnect, we reorient to our higher purpose, to that divine overlighting presence of that big love, whether we call it the Emperor in heaven or Isis or Christos or whatever word you have for that pure goodness of creation, that friendly universe, as Einstein called it. And so I really wanted to share this because I feel that now at this solstice, we need this. I need this. And even though I can feel the North Star and it's the biggest resource in my life outside of the love in my family, that is a bigger resource. And then the higher purpose is just second. That I can be sustained in these times, and we can as well. However, what I've been noticing in my own heart, and I kind of have a feeling that this isn't just me, because each one of our hearts is, while being radically unique, is very holographic as well, as in our hearts, the wisdom of our hearts. When we're living in our hearts, we all kind of reflect one another. And within my heart and what I feel is very real in life for me, and yet like holographically reflected through the whole, is that there's like clouds obscuring the North Star at times. And the clouds that I've been able to find recently, I mean, outside of all the loud craziness of the old world Capricorn structures falling, which they are, they're really falling down now. It's really breaking down. And as so many people say, we got to break down to break through sometimes. And, I want to honor that breakdown process, because honestly, that's been my journey over and over, even just this last week. But the clouds that feel like they're obscuring, like really, really being able to tune into the light of that North Star, that higher purpose, that clear vision, has been all these hurts, like all these bruises in my heart from the last few years. And even though I've been in practice, like feels like continually, it's been like one big ceremony, and in a deep practice with the ceremonial work and really staying current to the best of my ability, hurt has still slipped in and slipped through. It's been a really hard 5 years on relationships, and it's felt like the separation program of us and them, and anti and pro, and right and left, and liberal and conservative, and Democrat and Republican, and all these ridiculous divisions have created a lot of struggle in relationships and conflict and stress. And so even as I'm sharing this, I feel that emotion coming up, and I recognize that this is the clouds. And the clouds are what I have yet to forgive. And honestly, I don't know in my own power how to forgive, how to fully experience and feel and let go. And I have forgiven many times, and I prefer being in a forgiven state because then I'm free. But it's almost like there's been like a bruise upon a bruise upon a bruise. And just recently, one of these bruises got hit, and then it was like an echo chamber of heart bruising. And so what my own heart has been communicating, this prayer of communing with this heart. And then what I'm recognizing is like the only way I can see getting through this collective mess is coming together and praying and offering those hurts over and asking for the spirit of forgiveness, the spirit of mercy to fully come in and to offer my heart and everything that I can't do on my own, that I don't know how to resolve on my own. That this winter solstice, I would like to really invite in, this practice of creating offerings, creating art, creating the beautiful ceremony of the despacho, which I'll be connecting to this video. Our really beloved sister and wise sister, Heather Weingartner, created this forgiveness despacho, which is a whole prayer process of making offerings and asking for this forgiveness to come in. And this is what I'll be doing this solstice, because I recognize that I need to reconnect big time with the North Star, receive new light codes, receive new activations and transmissions to help my in this human journey, this most powerful energetic gateway of the year, this leverage point for transformation, that to turn towards first forgiveness, to clear that which clouds, that which covers and obscures, those places of judgment and hardship, and the traumatic memories that then keep us locked into shadow dynamics, to bring this into forgiveness and the spirit of forgiveness and call in those divine beings of grace, the angels, the guides, the secret plant medicines, the beautiful ancestors, the mountain spirits, the nature spirits, the wild ones, the star beings, the galactic federations of light. Like, let's call them all in, because on a planetary level, we need all the help, like all the help here and now. Because the new earth, that place, the North Star, our higher purpose, our connection to divinity is guiding us to, we have to be the ones to walk ourselves there. It's really clear to me, like, it's not something that comes to us. We have to choose to walk in that direction. We have to be our own liberators. And this comes first through recognizing how we don't want to be, what it actually feels like to not be free. And those places in me where I have not forgiven myself or forgiven others or forgiven the world or forgiven God for not being what I want, well, I'm ready to do my very best to let this next wave of that go. And so I'd like to invite you into this practice, this solstice, with me. Forgiveness and connecting to that higher vision, that higher purpose. And maybe, even though it might not be for you, holding the vigil on solstice, being the light of the world, holding the light of consciousness through the darkest night. Not for our personal journey so much, but so this continuum of awakening and ever-present consciousness can hold space for the collective dark night and the reemergence, the redawning of the sun on the 25th, and for baby Jesus's birthday, which I also love. And also at this very powerful time of planetary change, holding that space, that presence, and growing that soul power to hold space for the rebirth and dawning of the beautiful heart of humanity. Thank you so much. all my relations.